The acting police chief of Dalton, now facing federal charges. Grand jury indicted him on bankruptcy fraud charges today.
The Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on now.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard last night wasting no time shutting down trustees and critics.
The veto message is related to the secret squirrel means, yes, that the Board of Trustees.
During an emergency meeting held late last month, the board unanimously passed a resolution calling for a federal investigation into the mayor.
It's a great day in Dalton. Justice is being served.
Elston has been the assessor here at Thornton Township for the past 10 years, an elected position that helps residents deal with exemptions and property tax appeals. But when she arrived at work this morning, something strange happened.
This was your office?
Yes.
What happened when you tried to open it?
It doesn't work.
Not only had Elston been locked out of her own office, but boxes of sensitive documents that she kept in her office were spread around the common area.
This was under lock and key before.
This was under lock and key.
And now it's just out in the open?
Breaking news, Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, has been arrested by the FBI. If you've been keeping up with the growing scandal, you'll recall the reports of her lavish shopping sprees and luxury vacations, all allegedly funded by suspicious wire transfers. Now, authorities are claiming she converted the town's funds into a mountain of debt under her leadership. What's even more shocking is the latest development. Federal agents executed a search warrant at her home, uncovering hidden safes and a trove of unexpected items. The evidence against her is mounting fast, raising eyebrows and fueling speculation about the true extent of her actions. How deep does this scandal run? Henyard's extravagant lifestyle, reminiscent of a Kardashian, stands in stark contrast to Dalton's financial crisis. Picture this: designer handbags, globe-trotting luxury vacations, and an expensive security detail, while the town she was sworn to serve spiraled into debt. It's becoming increasingly clear that Henyard may have been living large on the hard-earned money of Dalton's residents. As the investigation unfolds, more damning details are emerging. The FBI has gathered enough evidence to pursue serious charges, but it's still unclear just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Could this mark the end of Henyard's tenure as mayor, or will she find a way to escape the growing pile of evidence against her? One thing is certain: the drama is far from over. The people of Dalton have been waiting for answers, and now, they're finally on the horizon. The FBI is coming after Henyard with full force, and the fallout could be explosive. Stay tuned, this story is only just beginning.
Have trust issues. Using by Tiffany Henyard to get routine township bills paid.
I had trouble following it as well, but now Keith Freeman is cooperating, doing what we should have been done in the first place.
Cooperating with trustees.
With the trustees, absolutely. Doing his.
Over the past few months, Tiffany Henyard, once the infamous mayor of Dalton, has gone from being a lightning rod for controversy to virtually disappearing from the public eye. While her downfall seemed inevitable, the drama surrounding her is far from over. Rumors suggest that she's laying low, possibly trying to cover her tracks and evade the growing scrutiny. But let's be real, how long can she stay hidden before the authorities, especially the FBI, catch up with her? Henyard's chaotic reign, marked by scandals, allegations, and missteps, appears to be unraveling before our eyes. Watching it all unfold feels like witnessing a slow-motion car crash. It's hard to look away. Is she on the run, or merely avoiding the spotlight to dodge the heat? Either way, one thing is certain: Tiffany Henyard has a lot to answer for. The people of Dalton, along with the broader public, are eagerly awaiting a resolution. The town has had enough of her antics, and even the Board of Trustees seems to have reached its limit, signaling that it's time for accountability. Henyard's tenure has been defined by her disregard for the concerns and needs of the community she was elected to serve, alienating both residents and political allies alike. The latest chapter in her saga highlights just how deep the divide has grown. Recently, Henyard called for a town meeting, likely an attempt to regain control or public support. However, in a humiliating turn of events, not a single member of the Board of Trustees showed up. The empty seats were a powerful message: the board has had enough of her leadership and is no longer willing to play by her rules. This public snub from her former allies marks a significant turning point in Henyard's political career. It underscores how far she has fallen from grace, with tensions between her and the community now at a boiling point. The lack of support from the Board of Trustees, once a key pillar of her administration, is a glaring indicator of her crumbling authority and credibility. With mounting legal battles, ethical questions about her leadership, and a growing number of opponents both within and outside her administration, Henyard finds herself increasingly isolated. The people of Dalton are watching closely, wondering if she can salvage anything from this unraveling mess, or if her political career is truly nearing its end. The drama is far from over, but it's clear that Dalton has reached its breaking point. The community is demanding answers, and Henyard's ability to dodge the consequences of her actions is wearing thin. The tension is palpable, and the stage is set for what could be the final act of her troubled tenure as mayor. Whether Henyard can weather the storm or if this marks the definitive end of her political career remains to be seen. One thing is certain, though, the people of Dalton are ready for her to be held accountable. As the saga unfolds, the ultimate question lingers: can Tiffany Henyard make a comeback, or has the curtain finally fallen on her political ambitions?
Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for this special meeting.
Never one to be intimidated by a snub from the board, Tiffany Henyard took the stage and, in her typical dramatic fashion, turned the incident into a personal soap opera. She boldly declared that the corruption scandal surrounding her was part of a massive propaganda campaign aimed at discrediting her glorious reign. "That's what all the hate is about," she proclaimed. "Your super mayor became too powerful too quickly. I'm so rare, I'm so unique, and that's why everyone's got problems. It's all about control." Her words dripped with defiance as she continued, undeterred by the growing frustration of the residents. "This is me making my statement. If you guys don't want to hear this, there's the door." But the residents of Dalton had heard enough. One attendee interrupted her tirade with a blunt accusation: "We already know you're stealing from us." Henyard, unfazed, carried on with her speech, fully entrenched in her narrative. Meanwhile, suspicions about her misuse of taxpayer money continued to grow, fueled by mounting evidence. WGN investigators obtained credit card records revealing that Henyard and her team had racked up $67,000 in travel expenses on Thornton Township's tab in just 5 months. When charges made to Dalton's accounts were included, the total ballooned to over $100,000. Her justification? She claimed the expenses were for attending conferences, an explanation that many found implausible at best. Adding to the controversy, Henyard and her administration had been evading requests for Dalton's spending records for months, blatantly ignoring state transparency laws. Despite repeated demands from the Illinois Attorney General's office, led by Kwame Raoul, to release the documents, Henyard and her allies remained defiant. The standoff reached a breaking point when Gilly G's parent company filed a lawsuit in Cook County Circuit Court over the withheld records. A judge eventually ruled against the village, leaving Dalton's trustees to deal with the fallout. Trustee Brown, a vocal critic of Henyard, revealed that she had repeatedly requested financial statements, but never received them. Even those within Henyard's administration who knew the truth about her financial mismanagement were trying to keep it hidden, aware that a full revelation would cause an uproar. The town's financial chaos was becoming increasingly apparent. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, hired by the village board to investigate Henyard's fiscal management, uncovered shocking findings. Dalton's general fund balance had been a healthy $5.6 million in April 2022, but had plunged into a $3.65 million deficit by May 2024 due to rampant misuse of credit cards. Without proper oversight, Henyard and her administration had disregarded financial checks and balances, leaving the town in disarray. The tipping point came when the village board passed a resolution calling for a federal investigation into Henyard's actions. The resolution was a relief for many, including 4 of the 6 board members who attended the meeting, frustrated by her leadership. Trustee Keem Beller voiced the sentiment of many: "There's a lot of mismanagement of funds, and we just want some clarity so we can move forward and understand what's going on with all the spending." Henyard's grip on the town was slipping as the investigation gained momentum. Her inner circle began to fracture, with reports that one of her top aides was cooperating with her rivals. She lost access to village funds and much of the power she once wielded. Even her insistence on maintaining payments for her personal security detail, despite the loss of 6 police cars and valuable officers, highlighted her disregard for fiscal responsibility. The misuse of the village credit card also came under scrutiny. Purchases from Amazon, Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair were charged to Dalton's account, and it was alleged that Henyard used taxpayer money to rent her lavish property. The most shocking allegation, however, was that she wrote a $561,000 check to repave her mother's driveway using public funds. Federal agents, armed with this evidence, raided Henyard's home and uncovered a detailed record of her alleged corrupt activities. As the investigation deepens, Henyard has gone into hiding, avoiding public appearances. The FBI has demanded personnel and disciplinary records for 29 Dalton employees, as well as documentation of contracts and payments made to her assistant, Keith Freeman, who also holds a similar position in Thornton Township. The once powerful mayor's political career is now on the brink of collapse. The community of Dalton, once under her control, is demanding answers, and the truth about her alleged corruption is finally coming to light. As the investigation unfolds, one thing is clear: the public is determined to hold Tiffany Henyard accountable for her actions. Whether she can salvage anything from the wreckage or if this marks the definitive end of her political ambitions remains to be seen.
Close aide to Mayor Tiffany Henyard is cooperating with her. The mayor has now been stripped.
She faces an uphill battle to retain her political positions.
Following the death of longtime supervisor Frank Ziccarelli, Tiffany Henyard made history in 2022 by becoming Dalton's youngest and first female mayor. She also assumed the role of supervisor for Thornton Township, entering office with high hopes and lofty expectations. However, troubling details about Henyard's financial management soon surfaced. In January 2023, WGN Investigates revealed that Henyard and her team charged over $67,000 to township credit cards for out-of-town travel in just 5 months. Unfortunately, the revelations only worsened from there. Henyard has been accused of abusing taxpayer funds for personal gain, indulging in luxury travel, private security, and even covering personal expenses like a hairstylist. One particularly egregious example was a 5-day trip to Austin, Texas, in July 2023. Records show that $33,900 was charged to Dalton taxpayers for Henyard's travels to cities like New York, Atlanta, and Portland. Meanwhile, her primary assistant, Keith Freeman, and 3 other township officials spent $22,000 in public funds during the same trip. Notable charges included $1,169 at the Fairmont Austin Hotel, $389 for steaks at Ruth's Chris, $53 for sports riding apparel, $43 at Walgreens, $247 at Walmart and Target, $1,425 on Amazon, $3,491 for Henyard's personal photographer, and $5,099 for dining and Uber Eats. Public outrage grew when it was revealed that taxpayers were also footing the bill for Henyard's use of village vehicles, including leases for 3 high-end SUVs, costing over $374,000. When questioned about these lavish expenses, Henyard defended herself, but failed to provide satisfactory explanations for her use of public funds. The mounting revelations have left many questioning Henyard's leadership and priorities. Jason House, a prominent local figure, accused Henyard of leading the village into financial ruin. "We're drowning in debt because she raised our taxes," he stated. "If you claim to have good business sense, you need to revisit the budget. You're a public servant, not here to indulge yourself." Disillusioned by Henyard's mismanagement, House has announced his intention to run for mayor in 2025, citing it as a necessity to save Dalton's future. Henyard's administration has also been linked to the closure of several businesses due to unresolved licensing issues. For instance, Lawrence Gardner's trucking company was forced to shut down in January 2023 after the village accused him of selling alcohol without a license at an event. Although Gardner was cleared of wrongdoing in court, he believes the charges were politically motivated. Gardner also alleged that Henyard pressured him and other business owners for $3,500 donations to the village shortly after taking office, further fueling concerns of corruption. The FBI has not confirmed an investigation into Henyard, but rumors continue to swirl. Local authorities have expressed growing frustration with her leadership, and many former allies have distanced themselves from her policies. Her erratic behavior has left even those closest to her questioning her judgment and leadership capabilities. At a recent Take Our Township Back rally, dozens of Thornton Township residents demanded that Henyard step down and that her spending be thoroughly investigated. The rally reflected the growing anger over the lack of accountability and transparency regarding taxpayer dollars. Henyard's move to restrict the approval of village expenditures solely to herself has only added fuel to the fire. While Henyard denies most of the allegations against her, claiming she has receipts to justify her actions, she has admitted to a few items she could not hide. Still, she continues to downplay the severity of the scandal. "This situation is spiraling out of control," noted one observer. "Her behavior is downright unhinged. She keeps doubling down on her antics and refuses to take responsibility." Jason House's call to revisit the budget and prioritize public interests over Henyard's lavish lifestyle has struck a chord with many residents. As the drama unfolds, Henyard's grip on power is slipping, and her political career appears increasingly unstable. Whether she can weather this storm or if her career will crumble under the weight of these revelations remains to be seen. One thing is certain, the residents of Dalton are no longer willing to let her actions go unchecked.
Take a look at the budget again. You are a public servant. You serve us.
Although the specific charges against Tiffany Henyard may vary, one thing is abundantly clear: she seems entirely unfamiliar with the concept of accountability. Her consistent displays of carelessness and disregard for the consequences of her actions have further tarnished her reputation. Each new accusation only adds fuel to the fire, deepening public distrust in her leadership. Instead of facing the consequences and admitting her mistakes, Henyard has continued to deflect responsibility, showing no signs of change. The tipping point came in March 2024, when the Dalton board launched an official investigation into Henyard's actions following allegations that she had misappropriated $60,000 in taxpayer money for extravagant travel expenses.